Okay, good
I'm
luck,
back.
girl. It is Wednesday night, and that means another thrilling one-off race. Join me, Michael Choose, and Satiris Maraitis for our trip back to the 80s because for one night only, this is Procar. So as I said, this is a one-off race. We have 13 drivers in attendance. We have big names here, such as Henrik Andreas and Andy Darnell. We have returning names such as Ivan Lukic, who has happened to get he had a little bit of wheel problems. Everyone casually outbraking in turn one in a hairpin there in Hockenheim. That's where we are. Yeah, the brakes on these pro cars aren't the greatest. But if it's any consolation, they all have the same brakes and they all have to put up with it. So that's what I'd be going off of if I was a driver in those cars. So anyway, I have another commentator here with me today. It's not David Jankowski, but it's you might recognize him from the racetrack in Super GT. Welcome, Satiris Maraitis.
Hello, and thank you for having me here, Michael, on the commentator's box. It should be a good race and a good fun to watch while commentating.
Okay, that's the most bot response you could have given there, Satiris. Honestly, but there's a second voice here today, so that's who he is, Satiris Maraitis, everyone. So now begin with 12 and a half minutes to go. People are starting on their first hot laps of Hockenheim to determine their grid spots for the standing start.
Although the first laps have begun, a lot of the drivers have been scrambling to get ahead, to get clean air, been scrambling for positions.
Yeah, it's important to get a clean racetrack ahead of you, or if you're faster, like if you time it properly, a toe in front of you can be very good, but it's very difficult in these cars because it's more of they handle like a boat, and they make a lot more time on the corners than you would on the straights, so you shouldn't be depending on the straights for that time anyway. You should try and master that suspension.
Yeah, I mean, also they have very difficult braking techniques to master, so the dirty air is just another thing for the drivers to watch out for.
Not that there's much wing grip to begin with, to be honest, but dirty air is also almost a certain factor. Thierry Quattrachville is going to be first across the line in a 570 car. She's going to be setting the first lap time of the day.
So it's
What's it going to
purple
be?
sector 1, purple sector 2, and
155.007, almost 155 dead. But it's not enough to take Paul as Henrik Andreasen sets the top of the table, 154.3, followed by Ivan Lukic, setting a time 1.5 tenths lower. And Mike Bartman, the new back marker here, in 4th place with a time practically 1.5 seconds off of the pole time, but he has a lot of time to improve. We've got 10 minutes left to go. Andy Darnell sets the new fastest time behind Dirk Pfeiffer. Henrik Andreasen isn't quite as dominant as usual.
I mean, it was his first lap. He will have some more to go, so it's not. It's still very early to judge whether he'll be dominant or not.
Very good point. He's actually fast. He's actually gone purple by 6.5 tenths in the first sector and approaching the second sector rapidly. He's going to be tripping over traffic as he scrambles to make that pole lap. There's a lot more time to be found for Henrik Andreasen.
If he times it right, it shouldn't affect his lap time that much, but it will be definitely a factor that will slow him down a bit.
Yeah, it's going to be tight there with that black. I can't quite see the number off that M1 Procar, but he's going to have to be forced offline there. He's gone purple by 1.2 seconds there.
Good thing that the black car moved out of the way, I think.
Yeah, we had to go slightly offline in the crucial corner. But would it be enough to dethrone Andy Darnell from pole position? 48, 49, 50. 0.6 seconds. Henrik Andreasen takes pole position with 8.5 minutes to go. With Andy Darnell second and Dirk Pfeiffer third, Fotosystiglou manages to scramble to 4th place ahead of Mike Bartman in 5th. Ivan Lukic, the man with a fixed wheel just in time, is in P6. And Rhino Berger 7th ahead of Yuri Katachville. There are 8 times on the board with 13 in attendance. Plenty more qualifiers to see. And Henrik's going to go do it again. It's 2 tenths quicker in Sector 1 now. How do you think about that?
It's like it's just the overkill now. He already achieved domination, early domination. He just wants to make sure that nobody can take that from him.
Where I'm from, it's called kicking a dead horse. Like, you've already done the deed. There's no point in keeping going, but he's going to keep on going. He's going to establish himself as the alien that he really is, with pace out of this world.
So it's a second
7 tenths.
burp. So is it gonna be a sub 50?
If he doesn't mess up, he's going to be finding time in that corner just there, like the sweeping left-hander. Like, he was slightly offline that last lap. He's definitely going to be gaining time there. If he's kept it everywhere else, he might have a sub 150-second lap time.
Oh,
Goes very wide there.
very wide actually, yeah. But he still does a purple lap. The new lap being 150.608, just improved by 200ths of a second.
Yeah.
I mean, a purple lap is a purple lap.
He's gone on 2 personal best sectors. He might be able to improve up to 3rd place. And Fotosystiglou jumped him now. Let's see if he can get the position back. Rounding the last corner. What can he do here? 52.8. Not enough to dethrone Fotosystiglou from 3rd place. He'll be on the inside line going into turn 1. Christian Kubovic is in P6 at the minute, goes 5th fastest, ahead of Mike Bartman. There's still time to be found in these cars though. Here we have Rhino Berger on a personal best 1st sector. He can still find time around Hockenheim. And there's no 110 car. something that these pro cars are really. Well, anyone who's driven one of these in race room can agree that it's quite a hustle to bring this around the racetrack. It's Bruno Berger who's gone personal best in Sector 2. He might be able to improve from 9th place, maybe overtake Ivan Lukic, maybe even Mike Bartman. Going very quick there, Bruno Berger. 5 minutes to go, and here are your top 12. So we've got Henrik Andreasen on pole, followed by Andy Darnell in second, joining him on this first row. Second row starts with Fotis Isoglu and ends with Dirk Pfeiffer. Row 3, Dave Ziska and Christian Kivovic. Row 4, Mike Bartman and Ivan Lukic.
That is actually going to improve. P6.
6th place for Bruno Berger, ladies and gentlemen. Quicker than half the field, and Henrik's gonna go faster again. That's 2/10 in the first sector alone, going into the hairpin there. Heavy braking zone. Minimizes that torque. Almost no wheel spin, no tail kicking out. He's got that car all figured out. I have a feeling that these sub-51 times are going to be race pace for Henrik Andreasen. He's the better. He's the person I'd bet on right now. Doesn't quite carry as much speed as he used to into the second sector.
He actually slides into that right fast-hander.
Yeah, not always the quickest way round. Lost a 10th somewhere in that second sector. What can he do coming down to the last sector here? How much further ahead can he pull ahead of Andy Darnell? Let's find out. $151.0. That is not quick enough to improve, but he's on the way there. And that is far too wide in turn 1. That is an invalidating lap.
Yeah.
And Dirk Pfeiffer goes off the track, breathes on the gravel trap.
But the lap stays valid, actually.
It doesn't show you that on the race viewer. It's a little bit glitchy.
Oh, okay.
But Dirk Pfeiffer was a two sectors green. I have a feeling about to eat my words here.
Nope, Dirk Pfeiffer stays in 5th place.
The lap was invalidated. I was about to eat my words there. Ivan Lukic, for Inspired Yorkshire, he was like in the past 2 championships, like in GTR3, he's proved himself incredibly quick, and in the Evoras he's proved himself incredibly quick. But he can't be a jack of all trades. Not all drivers can. And this appears to be one of the worst cars for Ivan Lukic, as he goes 5th quickest. I take that back. But just hasn't gotten a good lap in, I suppose. Danny Caffey is remaining in P12. Yuri Katashvili in P10 is on a green first sector. She needs to put something together and quick if she doesn't want to start at the back of the grid here. 1.5 minutes to go. She doesn't have much time.
They barely have enough time now to complete a lap.
If you started a lap time now, you won't be able to finish it. This is the last lap.
That's the last lap, actually.
This is your last chance to solidify your grid position here and get the jump on the rest of the pack for the race start.
I feel like the more fun part is going to be for P6 to P3. The lap times that the guys did was phenomenal.
Yeah,
They're all
positions.
on 52s, and only 10s are splitting them apart.
Yeah, it's gonna be a battle of consistency, or who can wrestle this car across Hockenheim the quickest, the most consistently, if that makes any sense. That is Henrik Kutachvil up into P7, and that is game for qualifying. Henrik Andreasen is on pole position with a 1 minute 50 seconds, 0.60, and Andy Darnell starts second. Protasisoglu begins on the second row and ends with Dave Ziska in P4. Ivan Lukic improved to P5, with Dirk Pfeiffer down in P6 now. Henrik Kutachvil, light improvement to P7, and Rhino Berger down in P8. Christian Kubovic, P9, Mike Bartman, P10, Martin Corrini, P11, and Danny Caffey, a newcomer in today's series, P12. Andrzej Suket. Oh, that is not how you pronounce. Andrzej Stuchek. I hope that is how you pronounce that. Has not qualified. Starts at the back of the grid, P13.
I actually know Danny Caffey. I used to
Yeah.
race against him in an old championship I used to participate in. I remember
Yeah.
him being quick, though I don't know what happened to that gap of time.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll have
like,
to see.
this isn't a car for everyone. Like, I'm, like, I have my cars that I'm quick in and the cars that I'm terrible in, and if I was to compete in today's series, I'd be, without a doubt near the back.
Same, yeah, but I don't know. I just have a feeling that Danny could pull something out of this hat. I don't know.
You think?
I
I'll
think
take your
so.
word for it. 3.5 minutes to go, and for now, drivers should be focusing on their standing starts.
Also, just a friendly reminder to put your fuel already to calculate that.
Put your fuel back up. I can notice that some of you run your cars light to try help with qualifying times and makes your car more agile, but do not forget, do not make the mistake I've made like 4 times already. Don't forget to put the fuel back in. You
That will
lose.
be a crucial mistake.
It's not healthy.
Not at all.
3 minutes to go. And this is going to be a little bit of a blank 3 minutes. It's just going to be people getting a little bit of last minute practice in the circuit.
And
Getting into
maybe
zone.
practice standing starts.
Yeah, and standing starts. But apart from that, it's going to be pretty dull. So I thought I might just relay you a little bit of history on the car. Because this one makes series isn't what you think, isn't made for what you think it is. The M1 Procar, I thought I should take a little bit of time to explain. Why does this Cup car exist? Well, let me tell you about a story about a Group 5 racing car devised by BMW that never came to be. You see, during the mid-70s, BMW wanted to compete in Group 5, so they decided they wanted to build a purpose-built race car. So they didn't have to homologate the cars for Group 5 at the time. You just needed to build something purpose-built, and there you go. So they got Lamborghini's designers to do it. And, they spent a hefty wad of cash paying one of Lamborghini's designers to do it. And then they produced about quite a few of them. And, then the Group 5 regs changed. It's directly correlated with the Group 4 regulations, where you had to produce 400 road cars of that car before you could go racing with your homologated for Group 5. So now what BMW had was a racing car that they weren't allowed to race because it didn't homologate for anything. But so what they had to begin doing was like they had to butcher they got like the BMW road cars weren't the racing cars didn't start out as road cars. They started out as racing cars butchered to their bare minimal features. Because the M1 was purpose built, it was a purpose built chassis. It didn't come for anything. They had to take the chassis and cut it apart and sell it on the street as it was for 100,000 francs, which back then in the 80s was Countach money. You could buy a Lamborghini Countach for that. And it was a car that nobody saw on television, nobody wanted to buy. Even though it was doing very well, it was outrunning Ferraris on the road, but nobody wanted to buy it because of its price tag. So they needed to get a little bit of popularity, and usually how you do that is with race cars, and racing and touring cars and all that. But you can't do that because it's not homologated for Group 5 yet, since they haven't homologated it yet and haven't sold to 400 cars. But anyway, they found a workaround on that. They just made one make series with the Group 4 cars with a little bit more power. That's Procar. The cars you're seeing on the grid right now rolling up on the formation. Satiris, are you ready?
I'm absolutely ready.
I was worried to put you to sleep there.
I'm anxious to see what will happen after the lights out.
Yeah, this car is a handful on the starts. It's a lot of torque from that inline 5 engine. 8.5 kRPM.
So we got another news that Dave Ziska got disconnected from the server due to internet issues. So we got -1 driver already.
Yeah.
That's seriously butt luck.
Yeah, that's sim racing. That's always happens.
All right.
12 drivers on the grid. Henrik Andreasen on pole, and Andy Darnell on the other side. What's going to happen with 10 minutes to go on the first race? 5 lights, green. As Henrik Andreasen gets the advantage ahead of Andy Darnell. Fotosissiglu goes into the center, getting the slipstream off of Andy Darnell. Goes to the right, maybe to overtake Henrik Andreasen.
Oh!
Andreasen has spun. It gets collected by the whole field.
Massive accident there.
Andreasen and Fotosissiglu have crashed out immediately.
Andreasen got
4 wide going into turn 2. Dirk Pfeiffer is up there fighting for the lead. Andy Darnell maintains it. Going 2 wide. Sliding down behind each other now.
Heidelberg trying to look on the outside, maybe to overtake Yuri Kratochvil. Let's see what he can do.
Thierry Kratochvil and Rhino Berger have both got rocket start. On the inside, a little bit of a door bash there. Goes into second place. Rubbing is racing. Andrzej Suchek has spun out. Can't get quite on the track this time. Mike Bartman's down at P7, staring at the back of Thierry Kratochvil, and Henrik Andreasen is already back into P5. It's going to be a charge back to the front with a damaged car. Can the Viking do it?
Already before even lap 1, we got chaos. A lot of crashes and a lot of drama.
Rhino Berger up into third now, chasing Dirk Pfeiffer.
Up on the inside, he slips inside. Nice!
What a move from Rhino Berger. Dirk Pfeiffer's losing positions. A lot of door bashing here from the 151. And that's Henrik Andreasen going through there.
That's Danny Caffey spinning out. He lost complete control of the car. Gotta say, gravel on the tires of this car isn't very kind.
So Tiras, what did you say about this guy making a push? I think congratulations, you've done your first commentator's curse. How do you feel?
I mean, first commentator's curse. I think that's an achievement. That's a new world record.
A milestone in your commentary career.
Yeah. So as we can see, Andreasen is already in P2. He's on the charts now for Andy Darnell. 6.5 seconds behind. Let's see if he can make it.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? He's 6 seconds behind Dandy. He needs to make that up in 7.5 minutes, and they're 3 wide going into the hairpin there. Yuri Kartochville's in it.
There's a lot of door banging
is
there.
in it. Christian Kubovic is in it. Who's going to come out in front?
PetrolHead on the inside, he doesn't make the move quite stick. Lukic goes wide. He has to let the PetrolHead by.
Photosystically comes out.
Even Lukic now tries to fight back, tries to look up on the inside, but obviously he's not half alongside there to make the move stick. So he's gonna have to catch up to him and be more patient.
Yeah, patience is key here. There's nothing he can do. He just needs to count down those laps and get that opportunity back as soon as he can.
PetrolHead goes wide there a bit.
He needs to be careful of that curb and kill the car. Massive sausage.
Consistency is key at this cars and the track combinations, I can say.
Rhino Berger is fighting Christian Kubovic half a second back. For P3, he's trying to defend his position, his podium spot. Christian's behind him, he's 3/10 back. There's bumper to bumper, a little bit of contact there, I think. Christian Kubovic holding his line. I want to try hold that right-hander to get as much of a run-off as possible.
He's on the inside there.
Christian Kubovic gets the speed through and overtakes Rhino Berger for 3rd place.
He breezes past Rhino Berger. I think he could have closed the line there
Not over
a bit
yet.
more early. So Rhino's on the attack now. Let's see if he can do something and fight back.
This is going to be a slipstreaming move. He's gotten the better exit. And he's got the slipstream ahead of him. He's going to be on the outside. Rhino Berger is coming back to overtake for 3rd place. Rhino Berger re-overtakes Christian Kubovic.
Actually makes the move stick, and even Lukic goes wide again.
Lukic
Knocks up and goes wide.
This really isn't Ivan Lukic's day. Maybe the force feedback broken his wheel again, but whatever it is, that is not the call for him today.
Not at all. So actually, Photosystically is actually back into P5 on the charge now for P4.
Yeah, it's only 2 seconds back from Christian Kubovic. He's that far. He's only 2 seconds away from the battle for the podium. He just needs to put in a few laps now. I hope something happens ahead of him. Going as these 4.5 minutes remaining. Rhino Berger, lightning start from him. Will get his first
amazing
podium for
performance. Absolutely amazing performance. Let's see if he can keep actually a P3 overall at the end of the race.
Christian Kubovic in 4th isn't going to let him go without a fight though. He's still there and ready to go.
Rhino Berger, all he needs to do now is stay consistent and actually bring the car home. 4 minutes left.
Something that can help him out here is if Photosystically gets closer. He almost makes the move, but he wasn't quite side by side.
I think Kubovic can already feel the pressure behind him by Photosystically, and he's going to prioritize now defending rather than attacking Rhino Berger, so this could be the advantage of the Namibian driver.
That's exactly right. Christian has almost dropped back like 4/10 by now.
What is that on the inside?
The move is going to happen. He nearly collects.
He goes wide. All of them go wide there. All of them.
Photosystically was almost target locked on Rhino Berger there. Look at him go.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate moment. I think the brakes didn't do their proper work there, the proper job. But he's still very close to Christian Kubovic. He could pull out a move with 3 minutes remaining. I think he could pull that off, but we'll have to see actually.
He's got 2 laps to do it. 2.5 minutes to go. Suchek is going to be...
on the inside, he overtakes Barkman.
Mike Barkman went wide, and Suchek was able to capitalise off that in the late stages of this race.
I say we see some pretty good moves.
Going on the inside.
Is Reinberger gonna fight back at the end of the start-finish straight going on to T1? He is. He's gonna try and fake an inside move.
Thinks about it there, but he doesn't go for it. He wants to live here.
Oh, and he spins.
Slides off!
No!
And the wall.
He hits the barrier.
That is so unfortunate. Reinberger was onto a podium there, and he lost his goal and he started it away.
And he spun again. Dirt on his tires completely ruined his race. All it took was one mistake to completely ruin the run.
I'll tell you what, I'll tell you a battle we haven't checked up on in a while. Henrik Andreasen and Andy Darnell. Andy's has been staying consistent, and that 6-second gap between himself and Henrik Andreasen has been getting smaller. It's now 3.5 seconds, but it's not decreasing. He's not closing that gap fast enough. I think Andy Darnell might come out with the win here.
If he stays consistent and he stays out of any trouble, he should be good for a comfortable P1 finish. As we see Kretschwil going wide and spins on...
Here he's lost it in Sector 3.
Gonna have to be careful for the rejoin. So now the gaps are pretty much long. There's not any battle going on. Apart from Henrik Andreasen cutting back to 2.5 now. He almost gained a second out of that last lap.
He's got one lap to make this move work. This is his last chance, Henrik Andreasen, to take this race win.
And Kretschwil is into the barrier again. These cars are very difficult to control, as I can see, Michael. I'd like to hear your opinion on that.
Absolute boats.
They're very difficult cars to drive, like the brake is pretty stubborn.
Terrible brakes, terrible weight distribution. And definitely not the upside that they were going for with the Pro car when they were trying to design it for Group 5 was engine power. And
Tuchek actually goes wide, goes off track and spins a bit. He saves it, but drops down to P10. Bartman overtook him again.
Henrik's getting closer to Andy Darnell. He's got one more sector to make this work.
Can he pressure Andy Darnell enough so he could force him into a mistake? Kretschwil goes wide into the hairpin and spins again on the inside. That's very unfortunate for Jiri Kretschwil. Even more unfortunate than Reinberger's incident. Tuchek goes very wide indeed.
Wide, but what's going to happen now? Under a second left. Andy Darnell versus Henrik Andreasen. Under a second separated.
I think the checkered flag now has dropped.
Andy Darnell comes on with the nick of time to win it.
That was a very stressful finish.
Christian Kubovic versus Fotis Isoglu. Fotis is going to get a better access off the racing line.
No, not gonna be enough because Kubovic gets P3 and Fotis Isoglu gets P4. That's an amazing recovery driver from Fotis Isoglu.
Kubovic goes in
from P3 to last place to P4. That's a good recovery drive.
Yeah, excellent recovery drive there. Ivan Lukic is in 5th place, and then Reinberger.
He's going to be in P6.
P6.
I mean, he hasn't lost any positions, but it was very disappointing to see him spinning and going into the barrier.
I truly did believe that he could have been on for a podium there. He got a rocket start.
Let's see if Pfeiffer can actually jump Caffey on the final corner, on the final lap.
Pfeiffer's the chance if he plays it right.
Tries to move down the inside, it doesn't work, he brakes. He jumps him. I think Pfeiffer's not going to be satisfied with that. And as we come to the start-finish straight, P11 Danny Caffey, P12 Dirk Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer was shown the gap there, but he missed it. Pays the price. Henrik Andreasen has the fastest lap, and Andy Darnell wins ahead of Henrik Andreasen in P2 and Christian Kibovic in P3.
So it's Zizoglu P4, Lukic P5, Berger P6, Koreny P7, Bartman P8, Suchek P9, Caffey P10, Pfeiffer P11, and Kratochvil P12 after some after-race penalties. 19%.
90 seconds.
Did you get a drive-through?
I don't know, maybe if Race Commander
Can you
was
get a
on.
drive-through from for too many off-tracks?
Yeah, that's the thing, Race Commander. I believe
That was a
there's
very exciting race.
I
But we
believe
still
there
have
are,
the feature race.
yeah, other stints.
Let's see who'll come out on top on the feature race. It is 25 minutes, correct?
I have no idea. My, to be honest, I have my.
Correction, that's 20 minutes. Sorry, not 25. That could have been too much.
I'm hoping that there's a little bit of intermission because my game just crashed just there. I just need to yeah, so we're server switching sessions, so the commentary.
So you feel the emptiness of you trying to join the server back in. Yuri Kratochvil actually sent a message to the general chat saying he has a protest for getting a drive-through for spinning.
Well, that's a double-edged sword with Race Commander. That is it's unfortunate, but it's the way it is. Any off tracks at all will result in a drive-through penalty.
And I think Yuri is the first victim to Race Commander. Out of every race that took place, I think Yuri was the first to fall victim to Race Commander.
Server still switching sessions. I cannot get over this.
How many more do we have? How much more?
No idea.
I mean, did the race finish at... Oh, you joined. Nice. So there's some protest about Race Commander being very strict. But, as you said, is a double-edged sword. As we join now to the warm-up session, being 4.5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, it's like the unfortunate thing about Race Commander, but we have a lot of people that cut the track for an advantage in this community, and we wanted to crack down. So yeah, that's the nuclear option we had to go with.
I think it actually cleared the field a bit from the drivers that abused the track limits to the drivers that actually raced cleanly and consistently.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it.
I mean, I haven't seen lots of off-tracks infringements in the last races, and for Super GT, and I think for Formula 4, as we see Kubovic go in reverse for the starting grid to practice his starts. He's going backwards.
The Christians is going on a little bit of a sightseeing tour across Hockenheim.
He spins around.
Doing his best Timo Reiter impression.
I mean, I shouldn't say a lot, but I do this as well when I'm too lazy to do the full circle around the track. I just putting it in reverse and going back to the grid.
Like, most of the time I just do it in the pit lane with the speed limiter off. I don't get penalised for it because it's warm-up, so...
Yeah, it's warm-up. What can you do about it? That would be the last thing I could see, like people complaining that people are driving dirty in warm-up. That could be ridiculous.
So
Actually,
are you implying that there should be we should hold a demolition derby every time we're in intermission?
I think that should be fun. To be honest, that should be fun. Take the mind off a bit. Release some steam if you're pissed off about something.
Well, get it out of certain driver systems before they go on and kill other people.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, this hairpin, this peculiar hairpin has caused many drama at the first race. Mostly being Suchek being a missile guidance system, almost killing people.
well, it wasn't necessarily Stuchek. It was a bunch of people. Like this.
The most I've seen was Suchek, and he was going the fastest there. He was like a missile. Yes, Lukic went wide as well, but I don't think it was as conscious as was his. He actually wanted to brake later, but he miscalculated, I think, the brake mark and the distance, the stopping power to the car.
Yeah, the brakes are the worst. The brakes are taken from an American stock car. It seems like the brakes aren't great. Touring Classics.
You could put a cracker for a disc pad there. It could do the same job as it does. Let's see if this second race becomes more clean, or it will produce even more drama than it has already made.
Definitely on the lines are more exciting because we've got a top race reversed grid for race 2. I'd like to mention. So that means
Andreasen starts P7 then, and the P8.
Carney will start in pole position, and Rhino Berger will start in on the first row with him. So
let's actually see how will it affect the faster drivers being put on the back of the grid for once, because P8 is considered back of the grid, to be honest.
Yeah, it's always interesting when we do these reverse grids because it gives drivers who aren't necessarily great during qualifying, or those who aren't particularly lucky during race 1, to start near the front, and if they can defend their position, it gives them a chance to win the race.
Actually, that's how I got my first podium. That was Super GT with the DTM 20s. I started ahead, some accidents later, and I was caught up in P1, defended them, lost them, and finished P3 at the end of the race.
So anyway, like, it's also we get to see the fast people cut through the field if they can. So
it's a matter of skill and pace, as we see all the drivers forming up on the grid.
Yep, everyone just tweaking their fuel for the extra double length race, double the fuel. Last race was 10 minutes long, and this race is 20 minutes long. It's the feature
race. 12 laps of pure racing then, of the Pro Cars, as we wait for the lights to go out.
5 lights. Go.
And away we go.
Mike Bartman gets the jump. And Martin Corney, who goes 3 wide across turn 1 and gets the advantage. A start from Rhino Berger going into his first place. Behind him is Mike Bartman, racing him to turn 2. Christian Kubevich in 3rd. Martin Corney falls down to 4th. Fotis Isoglu in 5th. Henrik Andreasen has already gained a position down in 6th. Andy Darnell overtakes him there. Going into turn 2, Mike Bartman.
We have an accident already. Lukic at Kratashville. Lukic at Kratashville.
Lukic was in it. Yuri Kratashville was in it.
That's very unlucky for Lukic. He was he had a very promising pace, but I think
Rest in peace.
Lady Luck didn't want to bless him.
Suchek has turned
Suchek
someone
just
down,
dived
Andy
from
Darnell.
someone. Andy Darnell.
Well,
I think he misjudged the braking mark again, but
well,
we'll have to see after
put it
Stu's
best.
decision.
You put it best. Here's a missile guidance system activated, but
Jubovic is gonna try to slip down the inside of Fotis Isoglu to get the move done.
Jubovic is an absolute beast in these pro cars. Third place for Christian Kubovic.
Christian Kubovic. But he shouldn't celebrate too much because Andreasen is just the position behind Zisoglu. So Kubovic has to watch out for that, and for Fotis Isoglu, who dives down the inside and gets a move done. On to P3 he goes.
Third place for Fotis Isoglu. Maybe Kubovic fights back. They're side
Again,
by
a switch
side.
back. They're switching back positions over and over again. Andreasen is following them tightly behind. And Andreasen is going to capitalize on that. He's going to slip past underneath Kubovic, going into fourth.
Meanwhile, in the background, Andy Darnell is overtaking Corney. He's trying to follow the front of the pack as best he can.
Now Andreasen is going to have a chance at Fotis Isoglu. He's going to slip down the inside. He's gone off track a bit. He's going to break a bit late, and he's going for the double overtake.
Everyone going into the third turn too.
And some contact was created. Fotis shunted Bartman, and in return, Kubovic shunted Fotis. There's some,
going on here.
yeah. Was it racing or ping pong?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. The Sebastian Vettel quote.
As we see Christian Kubovic falling down the order, Andy Darnell actually overtook him.
That's Mike Bartman. He's outbroke himself. He's lost 3 positions.
Bartman actually almost hit Zisoglu if he didn't hit him already. That's actually going to be even more spicy. Andy Darnell following closely behind for the Zisoglu. He's going to try on the inside. It's not going to work. He's going to switch on the outside. He's going to do the switch back and goes through.
Darnell goes through.
Kubovic is going to follow through, but he can't. That's actually a very interesting race, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of moves happening so far. Christian Kubovic now on P5, holding off P5 from Mike
But he's on the hand for Fotis Isoglu. Andreasen is 0.8 behind Berger. Let's see how Rhino could handle it. He's now half a second behind.
Half a second back. Rhino Berger is now racing Henrik Andreasen for the lead. Going off at turn 1. Henrik's going to be getting a little bit of slipstream there.
Henrik is very close behind Rhino Berger, but he's going to follow through onto turn 1 to see if he's going to make any mistakes. He's going to try on the inside.
Carries the speed into turn 2.
Carries the speed and breezes past the Rhino Berger. Let's see if then braking do anything better. Pfeiffer goes past Lukic.
Just lost him.
Rhino Berger lost P1, and Andreasen breezes past for a P1 potential finish.
Henrik Andreasen retakes the lead on lap 3. 15 minutes
to go. Do you think Rhino could hold on to a P2 finish? If he stays consistent and defends very well.
Most definitely. I have no doubts in his ability. He is definitely in the cards for a podium finish here.
He's already joined the podium club the last race with the GT4s. He actually finished P3 if I'm not mistaken on race 2. Kratovchvil and Caffey have been on an accident.
Danny Caffey has been none the best of circumstances here in the number 8 car, down in 10th place. And Mike Bartman has retired. He must have had an incident. Maybe it was something to do with Danny Caffey.
And Suchek is also retired, actually. Suchek retired on lap 1. Meanwhile, Bartman retired on the lap before this one.
I didn't see what happened to Mike Bartman. What happened?
I don't know. Could have been damage, could have been a connection problem, or he could have gave up.
One of the three, but Mike Bartman isn't one to just give up so easily.
So it could have been damage or disconnection. As we see Andy Darnell now tailing Rhino Burger.
The PHSR drivers are getting close.
He's gonna join it.
Now.
He's not gonna dive down the inside. Nope, he does. He is, but he can't find the grip enough to actually stay side by side with him. So he's gonna try at the hairpin. He goes on the inside. Burger loses control.
Almost lost control of the acceleration.
I saw him wiggling a bit there. That was a little sketchy. So Andy Darnell gets the move done before the turn. It's ideal for him, as we see Fotis misjudging the braking a bit. Rhino Burger is just...
he's lost 2 positions there. Down in P5
Kubic capitalized on that, being P4, but Fotis is going to fight back. He looked up at the inside there, but he couldn't make that work. So he's going to have to be patient here and find the gap to it. He's closely tailgating Christian Kubovic. Let's see if he can actually...
Off the track, Danny Caffey.
Off the track goes Danny Caffey. I think he lost control there.
He certainly got a damaged car after the last accident. I wouldn't be surprised.
But Zizeklu is on the fight with Christian Kubovic for a moment. I saw the gap being very close. Now being opened up to... very close again now. Just half a second behind. Gonna try down the inside, it's not gonna work. Obviously,
takes the tighter line, and ultimately it works out for him. He's only half a second back going up to the straight now, following Christian Kubovic in 4th.
That's gonna be actually advantageous for Rhino Burger if they start fighting. They can slow each other down a bit, so it can give some breathing space to Rhino Burger for him to finish P3.
That's what I was thinking.
Like, if I would be Rhino Burger, that's what I would be thinking of right now, being the ideal situation. For those two to be fighting, and him getting away with a podium finish.
Fotis had a run there, but he didn't want to. But Christian Kubovic...
Could he have a run on the hairpin? He brake a bit later and actually catch him slipping.
I wouldn't count on it.
Goes on the inside, he brakes, they brake almost at the same point. Fotis on the inside, goes for the switchback. He's on the inside now for the next corner. Fotis on the outside. Now they have to make sure they give each other space.
Kubovic for the future.
Kubovic is ahead, but Fotis is gonna brake, goes a little bit wide, goes a little bit too deep on the brakes, and doesn't manage to overtake Kubovic. That was a very nice little battle.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think this is the last we'll ever see of him. Fotis is
11 more minutes to go.
He's been taking so many opportunities to overtake, but he just cannot finish his dinner. He just cannot get the move done.
Now the gap between Kubovic and Rhino Burger is 2 seconds. So Burger is actually pulling away from Kubovic and Fotis Zizeklu.
This is the dream situation for Rhino Burger here.
That's the ideal situation at the moment. If he stays consistent, that should actually be it. That's all he needs to do now.
Half race distance, 10 minutes to go. Henrik Andreassen's in the lead, followed by Andy Darnell in 2nd place. Rhino Burger holds 3rd, and then there's Christian Kubovic and Fotis Zizeklu both on a charge in 4th and 5th. Dirk Pfeiffer gains 5 positions back there and goes to P6. Ivan Lukic currently, Crutchfield 7th, 8th, 9.
Massive recovery by oh, sorry.
Then Danny Caffey, unfortunately, is still where he starts at the back. P10.
As I meant to say, massive recovery by Pfeiffer. Starting from P11, he managed to recover it to P6. I'm gonna hold that thought though, as Fotis dive down the inside of Christian Kubovic. Kubovic gonna get the switchback, and it's just another pointless move.
Yeah, it just looks so close, but yet so far. He's just going offline. Like, it's important to get that carry the speed in these cars. It's like it's like an MX-5, honestly. If you say, that's
Actually,
here
we
to
have a
cut off
spinner,
off.
Kratashvili, who does a
And
360. Thankfully, he didn't go outside of the track, so he should have clean tires.
P9 almost 60 seconds behind the leader, almost a full minute.
And it actually looks like Kubovic is actually catching up to Rhino Berger, now 1 second behind him, 1.2.
Yeah, Photosystically is starting to drop back. Christian is now focusing more and more on catching the car in front of him instead of defending.
Could it be a three-way battle to P3?
Possibly.
If Kubovic catches up, it's going to be a train of 3, 4, and 5, and they all have to battle it out for their final position. 8 minutes to go. 8 minutes to go. Photosystically dives down the inside. They have a little bit contact.
This is what the Rhino Berger really needed, is now he's got a gap. 7/10 between himself and Christian Kubovic. Photosystically is now back battling Christian Kubovic.
Photosystically is going to look up the inside. If he brakes correctly and parks it on the apex, Kubovic loses control of
sideways, Christian Kubovic.
He actually loses control. Kubovic loses control. Fotis shuts the door there. He's on the outside now. Kubovic is on the outside but has the speed advantage.
This is a dream scenario for Rhino Berger.
Yeah, the gap
Photosystically and Christian Kubovic are both under pressure.
Kubovic goes wide.
He's on the grass.
He's on the barrier. Kubovic hit the barrier, actually. So it's actually a very much dream scenario for Rhino Berger. 2 seconds ahead now of Photosystically. Kubovic has hit the barrier with possible damage.
Well, that's it then for Christian Kubovic. He's dropping back almost 3 seconds from Photosystically.
But the fight is long from over, since Photosystically is actually 1 second now behind of Rhino Berger. He's actually catching him up very quickly. That's going to be a very fun battle to watch between those three, if Kubovic catches up again.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. The move is going to happen very soon for Photosystically.
So, we have Kratashvili into the barrier again. I think Kratashvili though has retired from the race. No? Has he retired? No. He's still standing. But with a very damaged car. Yeah, I don't think though it's gonna be only bodywork damage. I think he damaged his suspension as well. I saw him a bit twitch.
These cars are front end.
Rhino Berger loses control a bit there. Goes a bit wiggly.
Slightly squirrely there.
Yeah, he goes squarely a bit. He's under pressure from Photosystically now. Let's see if Systically can actually capitalize off of that.
They are now racing. They are close enough. Within half a second, Rhino's going to have to start thinking about defending position.
Yeah. I mean, Rhino Berger is very consistent enough. If he could pull like consistent laps, lap after lap, he could actually come home with a P3, but he has to defend from Systically, who in general won't let him slide. He'll get the move done as soon as the opportunity shows itself.
5 minutes to go, and this is boiling down to the last lap.
But he's on the inside. He actually slips a move past Rhino Berger. They're on side by side as they start the next lap.
Rhino's on the racing line. He's going to get the better acceleration. Photosystically is going to have to drop back. He has no choice. It was a daring move, but.
So those are the first shots fired for those two.
For which And that's Photosystic maybe going for a move. He's looking out to the inside there.
Is he gonna make the move stick though? Not quite. He's gonna
does
stay
not
back a
press
bit.
his brake pedal at all going into the turn 2.
But I think you could have an overtaking opportunity at the hairpin if all goes good. But as history shown, Photosystic has some quite personal difficulties with the hairpin. So we'll have to see to that. What is on the inside?
Inside line for Photosystic. We're going side by side. Rhino Burger
Switches back actually. He keeps the move. Keeps and reinstates a gap of 2 seconds actually. 1.7 correction. And Kubovic is actually 0.6 behind now Photosystic. This is a very interesting race to watch.
Photos has had a little bit of a moment going into that hairpin, and Christian Kubovic is now catching back up to him.
As those two battle, Pfeiffer is actually battling. Oh, and Photosystic into the barrier. He lost control
in the wall, and that concludes his battle for first place in the feature race.
That might conclude his race. He's in the way of even Lukic. He blocked him a bit. He blocked him again. Lukic actually gave him a little nudge.
Traffic for Dirk Pfeiffer. There's a wrecked race car in front of him. Somehow still going.
I thought it was Lukic. My mistake.
No worries.
That was Pfeiffer. So Pfeiffer is actually going to try to gain that position. Photosystic actually held him back a bit from being 0.6 behind Lukic to now being a full second behind Lukic. Pfeiffer is going to just follow through Fotis on T1, and he's going to try maybe something down on the inside of the T2.
He's got carrying the speed.
He's got the exit speed. Is he going to capitalize on that? Not quite.
He's going to wait until the next corner.
With 2 minutes to go, let's see if Pfeiffer can actually make a move on Zizoglu, and let's see if Kubovic can actually catch up Rhino Burger. Those are actually two interesting battles to watch for now.
Dirk Pfeiffer knows that Photosystic, the car in front of him, is a write-off. It has the suspension damage and possibly engine damage because these cars are front engine.
Lukic actually had a problem with braking there. Sorry, continue.
Pfeiffer knows that it's going to be an easy move to make. He just needs to figure out where. Fotis is making it very tough. He's making his car wide and robust.
On
Switch
the
back
outside,
maybe. On the outside of the next corner, Dirk Pfeiffer might be able to go through here. For 6th place, he gets it done with half a tenth to spare. No, half a second. Oh, half a tenth. 6 tenths.
I think the patience paid him off there. He was actually very patient and waiting for the right moment to overtake Photosystic. He found the opportunity and took it without any questions. He was like, "Thank you very much, I'll take that."
This is the last lap, lap 11 of this race.
Let's see if Christian Kubovic can actually have a chance of tasting another P3 finish position.
3rd place is in sight for Christian Kubovic. He's only one and a bit seconds back from Rhino Burger, but Burger might be able to do this on the last lap. He might be able to hold his own against the Super GT champion to come home in 3rd place for the 2nd time running.
Rhino Burger is holding a very consistent 1.5 seconds of a gap behind him.
That's what Phil goes around.
Phil into the barrier again. Oh no, off track. He just loses control.
That's for the entry of Sector 3.
Photosystic, I said a little moment there. I saw a little bit of smoke behind. Some maybe gravel, dust.
Photosystic might want to try get back at Dirk Pfeiffer, but he's blown it. He's gone wide. He's outbroke himself. Unless Dirk Pfeiffer makes a mistake, that has sealed his fate for P7 in this race.
Let's see if Rhino Burger can actually make it through with a couple of corners to go. Kubovic goes wide a bit. He slides and goes wide.
He's thinking to himself, they built the whole racetrack, he's going to use the whole racetrack.
I paid for the whole track. He's flashing his lights for some reason to Rainer Berger to maybe distract him.
He's trying to force a mistake, and that is...
Has the drive-through. Let's see if Kubovic can actually have a moment and maybe
Rhino
have a chance.
Berger, for the second event running, goes home in third position. Rhino
He's actually
Berger
getting a podium position.
in third place for Procar in Hockenheim.
Absolutely amazing. I was at the edge of my seat all the time there. Tradishville has a drive-through penalty for being off track most of the time.
Here he's not having a very good time.
Not at all. Even though I saw him being P5 in qualifying. P5? I don't remember. He's having the worst time of his life now.
Here's everyone's gonna be absolutely exhausted after a race like that. These are such beasts to drive.
Tradishville is into the barrier again.
The race
I think
is
he's
over,
had
I
it more
believe.
than enough.
Some kind of sick and twisted burnout, perhaps, but...
Yeah, it didn't quite work out for him. Are you out of breath, Michael? Because
No.
I know I am.
oh shit, yes I am.
That was very exciting. That was a very exciting one-off race. To have actually got the chance of commentating alongside you.
No worries, I think you did a solid job, you know. You'd be free to join me in another race, if you ever wanted to sit out.
I mean, if there's one, if there's another one off, oh my, that could have been dangerous if it were a race.
Yeah, a little bit of a spin there.
That was a bit sketchy.
A small bit whimsical. But yeah. Say if Or ever comes up again, you have a spot with me in the commentator booth, yes, Sotiris?
Absolutely, it was fun. It was actually fun being on the commentator side for once, seeing how it all unravels.
Yeah, watching it from this perspective is very exciting. Like especially when you.
You're with Secret. Just doing another lap reversed.
Taking the optimal racing line here at Kratochville.
I think he's going faster than any other drivers. Yeah.
the R gear, like this is a very important fact for the BMW M1 Procar. You know, in race room, there's a secret where the R gear means race mode. That's the proper way you're supposed to race those cars, but you have to drive it backwards, otherwise it won't work. You have to nerf it.
Yeah, if he's going in reverse, the tire effect is going in reverse, and the fuel consumption is reversed. So it's actually pretty smart to think of that.
Yeah, you actually
said Binotto, but
yeah, you can see it. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
But anyway, now let's go on and do some post-race interviews. We've got a whole field to get through, and I'd love to hear from every single one of you.
Yeah,
You did great
that
out
was
there,
actually
lads.
fun.
Well done. What a race! Also,
It's actually gonna be a race when I don't get interviewed, but rather like interviewing.
Well, I mean, I'll ask my questions, and then
Yeah,
if
sure.
if you want to ask questions yourself, Sotiris, please feel free.
Yeah, sure.
So, Andy, would you like to say your piece first?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Andy. You're the winner in first race and the P2 in the second race. How was that from your point of view?
I couldn't ask for any more, to be honest. I was never expecting to win anything, but yeah, unfortunately, Henrik had an accident at the start of the first race, which gave me a chance. He was catching me about 2 seconds every lap, so one more lap, and I don't think I would have got first in the first race. But no, that was great fun.
Yeah, of course. So, what is your opinion of the Pro car? Do you think, like, what's your opinion on how it drives? Like, can you describe, like, there's definitely a unique driving style you need to do to drive those cars.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't work on setup for this one in the slightest. I just went with default setup. It would be quite interesting to play with setups a little bit and see if it handles much different. But they are great cars. I love driving them.
And do you think after driving Hockenheim just there, what other tracks do you think, if you were to ever repeat this kind of combo, what track do you go to next as the event organizer?
Well, I know Henrik would say Nordschleife, but probably not. Yeah, well, I suppose Spa would be quite nice with this car, I think.
It could have been an all-time classic then, combo.
Yeah. Well, Satiris, would you like to mention anything to Andy? Do you have any questions?
I mean, have you ever even a thought passed your mind that you could have actually had had this race going differently, for the better, for the worse?
I was feeling quite confident because during practice I was pretty much a second quicker than most other people. I knew when Henrik turned up I was not going to necessarily win, but I'll take the first win with thank you very, very much. I don't know what happened, but no, I mean, Henrik is just when I think I'm getting good at sim racing drive, I need somebody like Henrik and Tobias to come along just to show me that I've got a long way to go.
Don't we all?
Actually, good. One last question from me. What actually happened at the second race? I think I saw you crashing. Was it?
Yeah,
was it?
I went into the hairpin. Somebody tapped me and spun me around. I'm not sure who it was, but yeah, it happens, especially with cars like this with brakes that decide to work when they feel like it. I think the brakes are good. It's just the fact that it's 2 ton of weight and not much grip. I think the brakes themselves are quite good, but we haven't got the grip to slow it down enough.
That's actually true. The M1's brakes are actually very, very, very weak. You actually have to start braking 300 meters before the corner to actually make it through.
Yeah, so the brakes are fine. If you can lock them up, then it's not the brakes' fault. It's a lack of grip that's the issue.
Yeah, the car just slides through, and it becomes a ballistic missile then.
Yeah. Was it during the commentary you said Christian cruise missile Kubovic, or did I mishear?
No, not Kubovic. I think it was somebody else.
I say it would be a nice nickname, cruise missile for racing driver.
I think we should try to put it to somebody.
Get everybody to have a nickname. Yeah, I could be Andy Boring Darnell, Michael Grasshopper Twit. Not Twit, Twit.
Choose.
Shoot. I'll let you interview somebody else. Thank you, everybody that took part.
All right. Thanks, Andy, for your time.
Have a good one, Andy.
Have a good one. I can't believe people still get this wrong, but
I mean, I don't get it wrong anymore, at least. But back when who was it?
say my name.
Renato. He was calling you Tweet. Now I know it's Toot, but
All right, good. We're on the same page. I was a bit worried for a second. All right, let's get back on track here. Fotis, would you like to say your piece?
Hello, guys.
So, Fotis, that was a little bit of a grim turn 1 there in the first race with you and Hendrik.
Yeah.
So, like, we didn't quite catch all of that. So, could you explain the situation? Could you explain the incident from your point
Yeah,
of
I saw Henrik to have a very slow start for his standards, and I decided to take advantage of it. I go to the inside, cut the inside line, touch the curb, I forced to slow a bit to not allow the car to understeer and trying simultaneously also to give space to Henrik. But Hendrik, it wasn't wide, it was exactly behind me, and because I brake to avoid the understeer of the car, and I was thought that Henrik it was aside to me. Yeah, and I slowed down, and Hendrik touched me from behind, and cause both of us spun. It's okay, these things happens. I know even Henry didn't want it to be like that. It's okay for me, nothing to speak about. It's a racing incident that happens, okay. That make also for both of us the race more exciting, for me at least, and I think for him also to fight from the back to raise up again to the grid.
Alright, so it was quite an eventful recovery drive for the first race.
Yeah.
And something happened to you during the second race as well. I think you spun.
Yes, yes. After next of Mercedes, I think corner it was on the exit of the corner, the car lost grip, tried to save it, but throw me to the wall and damage all the front of the car, and it was very slow on straights, and I didn't want to turn in after that. So it was very slow, and I couldn't do anything to attack or defend my position after that. But it was I had some good fights in the second race also. I enjoyed it. It was a nice race for me.
Do you think if Andy was to set one up, do you think you'd drive a championship of this, or have you had your fill of M1 Procar?
It is a nice car, but it is very special to understand it and how to correct drive. Not correct, to drive it fast. It is like the Evora, but not like also because it is different. But yeah, I think it is a unique car to know how to drive it fast. It's very unusual that we have used to drive. Yeah, why not? I will take apart. It's challenging car. I like it. It's not easy at all to drive it. It tries to kill you every second, but it is fun.
So, Satiris, is there anything you'd like to add, or
I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with it. Could you have prevented the accidents happening to you?
I don't think so, because the first one it was not depending on me, and then second one I took the turn as I usually do, but maybe I didn't give notice to the tires, because at that moment I was fighting very hard with another car, and maybe my rear tires was hot, and I didn't understand that, and maybe that's why the car slept there, slipped, because I took the turn as every other time I took the turn. So yeah, I don't know. I think no, I couldn't do anything. I tried to prevent the second one, but it wasn't possible.
And last question, there were actually a lot of times where you were like misjudging the brake spot and you were like overshooting it.
Yeah,
Like,
it was.
especially with Kubovic, you were overshooting it.
Yeah, it's not when you have when you are practicing. Usually, you are practicing alone. You don't have a car in front of you, so you know your break points. But when you have a car in front of you, or you are forced to go a little bit to change your racing line to a little to the inside to avoid the contact with the car in front, it changes very much the braking distance. So when you have a car in front of you, you must brake even more earlier. And that's was the reason that a lot of times I overshoot a hairpin corner.
It's amazing how a little deviation of the racing line could actually change the braking a lot.
Yeah. In this car, it changes a lot because of the weight of the car. Also, even 1 meter later, if you brake, it changes tremendous the distance of the braking. So you must be very accurate with your brakes. And a little tip for that car, it is you to know to manage to drive it fast. You must learn how to manage to make it brake quickly.
Yeah, okay. That was a nice interview with her.
Sorry?
That was a nice interview with you, I said.
Thank
There was
you.
a lot of things that were covered up that we couldn't understand while commentating.
Yeah.
So, Fotis, is there anything else you'd like to say to the crowd at home or to any of the chat?
Yeah, I hope for the crowd at home it was an enjoyable race. I hope to see them again, and for the drivers, as always, I hope to have a great fun. Congratulations to everybody, finish or not, and to the podium winners also.
Alright, thank you so much for your time, Fotis.
You're welcome.
Alright, so that was Fotis Instagram, everyone.
Who should we do next?
Next up is Henrik Andreasen, our race winner for race 2.
All right.
Hello.
Henrik, what a drive. Like, yeah, for race 2, but something that just like to get straight. I know we had heard from Fotis, but what was your perspective on the lap 1, turn 1 incident of the race 1?
Well, I had got a bad start, and I noticed that Fotis, was coming on the inside, but I thought there was more room for a switchback there, and I misjudged. So it's all my fault.
It takes a lot of sportsmanship to hold up to something like that. I respect it. As much as it is embarrassing. But that's not easy, but you owned up. I can respect it. So, that race 2 victory was you had to fight from the back of the grid, essentially.
Yep.
So, do you think, like, how much of course you're so much quicker than everyone else. Like, how much ballast do you think you could take in your car without having, like, if you were to take as much ballast as you could on car, how much do you think you'd be able to take without losing? Like, of course, you're like a second faster than Andy Darnell and 2 seconds faster than the rest of the field. So, like, it take a lot of weight to stop you.
Yeah, I mean, if I had double the amount of fuel that I had in race 2, I would have been in trouble. The rear left tire was burning constantly, red hot.
Yeah, that's always a problem in Hockenheim.
Yeah.
So anyway, well done on your win, mate. So, Dearest, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm pretty covered up, except for the congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
second race win.
Thank you.
Alright, Henrik, is there anything else you'd like to say to the guys at home, the chat?
Yeah, good race. I really like these old death traps. And congrats to Andy on the win.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Henrik. Well done. No, it's just fitting, actually, that these things try to kill you, because after all, the chassis was designed by an ex-Lamborghini engineer, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we'll skip about that fact.
Yes. Here,
Yep.
Bill, would you like to say anything?
Well, today wasn't my greatest day at all.
No, it was not. That's the.
Yeah, it was actually the worst.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but it was a learning day. Like the Pro car is a very difficult car to drive. I don't think. Like Kiri, did you practice very much before this? It's not very.
Not at all.
Yeah, like these cars are very difficult to drive. Some practice beforehand might have been a bit better.
Well, I did few setup tweaks during the official practice, but it didn't help much because if you hit curb too much, you just spin easily.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you reckoned you actually practiced for this race, do you think you could have done well?
Well, if I practice even before, it depends on the difficulty. If it's easy, I can get faster and faster, but if it's some hard car, like difficult to drive, I don't think so.
All right.
I expected the car to be easier to drive, like because it doesn't have much torque at all.
Yeah, I feel you on that. So, Tyrus, is there anything you'd like to ask Kiri, like about?
Yeah, as you've actually mentioned in the general chat, and with actually confirming on the second race, you were actually protesting a bit about the drive-thrus being served to you unfairly because you actually spun and ended up off track most of the time.
Yeah, like few off tracks were serious, but mostly I was just correcting a spin or just spun. Like it was just unfair in both races.
Yeah, I mean, you were spinning a lot, and obviously those were ending up off track.
If you end up off track, you get incident points, and that's how it's based. That's how the race commander is set. If you get 10 off tracks, even with spinning, you just get drive through, which is unfair if you're spinning a lot. But if you are cutting, like I don't know, like going off, like normally you are driving and go outside of track limits. Like I don't have problem with that, but if I spin, that's serious problem. I don't think it should be used in the future.
I mean, I can intervene to that and tell you that you're actually the first person that actually got the drive-through twice by the race commander. And
Well,
as far as I understand, as far as I can understand, race commander has been put into effect to stop the drivers abusing the track limits and actually prevent the drivers from over-pushing, making them not being as consistent as they would have been being given the warning with 10 track limits equals the drive-through. Obviously, yes, it's annoying to get a drive-through by spinning, but this should teach you that you shouldn't be that aggressive and inconsistent. You should be consistent and be much more careful of your surroundings and track limits and your throttle and your braking. So it's not ridiculous or a joke to be there. Surely it's unfair, but it's not being put there just for track limits. It's being put there to improve racing and consistency all over the grid.
Here, if you have any, if you'd like to protest further, then please leave it after the stream ends. We do have a few more people to get through.
Yeah.
Alright, so is there anything else you'd like to mention just before we go on?
Nothing.
Alright, so I wish you a good evening.
Good evening. And see you at next race, which is tomorrow.
Actually, yeah, it's tomorrow, and I haven't even practiced for it. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I did a practice for it too.
That's gonna be fun.
Like, Satya said, you really should, yeah. I wouldn't advise that, but...
I don't want to overstress my my wrist. But
Get that checked out by a doctor, man. That's been asking for like a month.
Pain. Not a month, a week, hardly a week.
So,
Yes,
so Therese,
Yeah.
wait for another last minute overtake.
Yeah. I'll make sure to cover my inside the next time. All right. Should we move on to the next one then, Michael?
Yeah, sure. Hiri, thank you.
So, then bye.
Alright. So, alright, Christian, would you like to say?
Oh, hello. Oh, I just want to say I enjoyed it today. I didn't expect to be so good. I didn't practice at all. I just came and went to race. And I think I had amazing defending and some fights with Rhino and Fotis.
Yeah, I agree. That was a very good fight. Do you think if you'd practiced just a little bit, do you think you could have beaten Rhino or Fotis?
Oh, I think maybe yes. I'm in the car. I'm slow, but if I had some in behind, I'm just concentrating. So for defend, and I trying all time push. And
Yeah, nearly worked in the end.
yeah. So Rhino is fast. Fotis is faster than me, but he just had a lot of mistakes in the braking points.
Yeah, that was something we noticed as well, like in the commentary box. Lots of people were overshooting, and you were the only person, one of the few drivers that got it right, time and time again.
So I just brake aerial, so I just I concentrate, so I don't lock up tire, and the corner is the perfect. So I'm the slowest, but it's work for me.
Alright. Satiris, would you like to ask Kibovich anything? Or...
No, I'm fine. I'm covered with it.
Okay.
Once again, well done for your results, Christian.
Oh, thank you.
And it's
I
actually
didn't-
nice to hear your voice for the first time.
Oh, thank you. It's maybe the second time, but I'm not sure.
I heard you now for the first time, so. All right. If you don't have anything else to say, we can
Just-
actually move on.
Oh, just good night, and it's very enjoyed day today.
Yeah, you
Kibovich,
too.
Kibovich. Well done.
You too. Have a pleasant night.
You too. Thanks, and bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. And
Last
finally,
one.
Rhino Berger joins the podium club for the second time running. Welcome, Rhino.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me here.
No worries, man. So, of course, that shunt in race 1. Will you get over it?
Yeah, it was but a mistake on my side. As soon as Christian overtake me, I believe, well, I wanted to attack as soon as possible, but I've made a mistake on the very first corner, so I paid the price.
Do you think Did you have much practice going into this?
Yeah, actually, I had a lot of practice, and that's the sad part of it.
Yeah, like I think you did. Like you're one of the few people who's actually gone into this with practice, and it definitely showed. You're really quick.
Yeah, it just shows again, a bit of practice makes a lot of difference at the end. Well, also a lot of coaching from you guys also made a difference for me.
That's awesome. So do you think if, like, of course, Andy Darnell just got past you there in the second race? Do you think you could have defended that if you played things different?
No, I don't think so. Andy and Hendrik was just on a league of their own. I don't think anyone else on the track was going to catch them tonight. They were just very, very fast. But yeah, I'm happy. I'll take 4th overall. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Very well done, Rhino. Sotiris, is there anything else you'd like to ask Mr. Berger here?
Anything that he said, I'm completely covered with it. Well, welcome again to the podium club, Rhino. Get in there.
Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a very good night, Rhino. You did very well today.
Yeah, see you guys tomorrow then. Thank you, night.
Alright, see you tomorrow then. Have a good night.
So,
here we are, finished up with these post-race interviews. Tomorrow, tomorrow night, I believe it's... What day is it today? I forgot. I need to buy a calendar. Wednesday today. Thursday is going to be Formula Ford, the second round. And that's another very, very exciting series that you definitely want to keep your eye on. Next race is at Raceway GP. Definitely an underrated track. And almost nobody knows it, so it's gonna be a learning experience for the ground up for most people. So be there for that. And yeah, apart from that, I'd love to just take this time to just give my sort of view on things. This is kind of a debrief, if you will. So of course, we took a time machine back into the 80s where these pro cars ran the One Make series. Of course, the Group 5 never came to fruition because they couldn't sell enough M1s in the end to make the Group 5 cars, but this is just a small peek of what we could have seen alongside the 935 and the Zach Speed Capri in Group 5. Thank you so much for taking the time to take a little gander at the history here. This was Procar. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Michael Choose.